Hello and welcome to Shop Franklin Supporting Small Business, where we support, raise awareness of, and build community around Franklin's independently owned small businesses. My name is Sarah Mabardi, and with me today I have Cyndi Rich of Emma's Quilt Cupboard and Sewing Center. Hello and thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So, I grew up sewing. I took probably 6 years of sewing lessons and did cross stitch and did all of these things, and it's something that I've always done in the past and then stopped doing. So I'm really excited to find out ways that I can maybe get into it and what you have to offer at Emma's Quilt Cupboard and Sewing Center.
Great.
But before we get into everything that you have, where'd you come from? You weren't always a small business owner.
No, I wasn't.
Most small business owners didn't start out as small business owners. So what were you in your past life?
I actually am from California, from Southern California, and I worked for a management consulting firm there, and then I got promoted to the Boston area.
Okay.
So I worked for McKinsey & Company. It's one of the top consulting firms in the world, and I was their director of administration for 20 years.
Wow. A little different than...
A lot different.
A lot different.
A lot different.
So
yeah.
how long did you do that?
20 years.
In Boston, I guess.
Oh, in
How long did you do
Boston?
that in
I
Boston?
came here in '89, so I would say about I'm trying to think now. Probably about 13 years.
And having worked in a large international accounting firm in internal finance for many years and in management, I can appreciate it's a very different culture
Oh my gosh, yeah.
than being a small business owner.
Absolutely.
Rewarding in different ways.
In some ways similar too. The pressure, the stress, the attention to detail, the deadline orientation, it's all part of it. If you want it to be, actually.
Yes.
If you want it to be, so.
So that leads right into things that you're doing now. So how did you transition? Was it a direct line from leaving McKinsey and then starting your own business? Or how did you move into being a small business owner from that role?
Well, I decided to retire from McKinsey, and so I took a year off and tried to figure out what I wanted to do next. I was fortunate at McKinsey. I was able to have several careers within the same company, which was really nice. So I took a year off and did a lot of volunteer work, tried to find myself as everybody else does, and decided after a year that I wanted to do something that would marry my passion, but still take advantage of all the business experience that I had. So I came up with this.
So now, was quilting something or needlework something that you had always done, or something that you found later in life?
I've sewn all my life. My grandmother taught me to sew when I was 10 years old. And that was such a treasured memory for me. So I kept that. I sold all my sister's clothing. I sewed my own clothing.
Oh, wow.
My kids' costumes. You know, that's how usually a lot of women get into sewing, is they do costumes for their kids. And then I met someone at McKinsey one day who was actually hand quilting, and I was fascinated by it. And that was in California, actually. And I can still remember the pattern of it, everything. It was a whole cloth quilt. I was just, it was mesmerizing to me, and I thought, at some point, I'm going to do that.
Wow.
And when we came out here, we didn't know anybody. And I'm used to, you know, being outside all year round, and when you come here, that's not the case.
You can be outside all year round. You might be a little chilly.
I remember, you know, every weekend I'd come into work and everybody would say, "What'd you do this weekend? What'd you do this weekend?" And I finally asked, why do you guys keep asking me that? It's just a weekend. And they said, "You don't understand. You only have so many weekends before you don't have them anymore." That was a novel concept to me.
And quilting suddenly came in handy because you needed something to stay warm
and
top of it.
And do in the winter.
And do in the winter when you are inside.
So I took a quilting class, actually, at the Franklin Mill store right here in town.
Oh, wow. Great.
Yeah, and it was a hand quilting class, and I made it through the first class. And then I contacted the teacher and said, I can't do this. I don't have time for this. I need to use my sewing machine. And she let me use my sewing machine, and I just took off from there.
Now, what is the difference between hand quilting and using machine? So you're actually hand stitching
Needle
every
and thread.
stitch
So
for every square.
Yes.
And quilting has a lot of pieces, in theory. Not all pieces, but there can be a lot of...
And then to finish it, you can hand quilt it. And so I just, you know, I had 3 kids. You know, I was working 60 hours a week, you know, driving into the city every day. I just didn't have the time for that, you know. So
but you loved the idea of creating.
Oh my gosh,
this
yes.
piece.
And now
so what was
like
your first piece?
Oh, I should have brought it. It was a table
I think
runner.
she didn't bring it on purpose. We say, well, wait a second, let's check out these stitches.
I put it on my website so, for the whole world to see. So, but
as if I should say anything, Miss. Yeah, I haven't sewn in years.
But it was a table runner, and it's actually still sitting on my coffee table in our living room.
And that's a great starter piece.
Yep.
Is a table runner, because it's a finite amount. It's not a huge
small,
piece.
it's doable.
So.
It's, you know, you feel good when you can finish it in, you know, a month or whatever. So, so it was great. And so I just kind of took off from there.
And made a career out of it.
And made a career out of it.
So when did you open Emma's Quilt Cupboard and Sewing Center?
2004.
Okay.
So this month we're celebrating our 12th year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like it was maybe like 2004 was maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So 12 years. And have you always been in the downtown Franklin location?
I have.
In the space that you have?
I have.
And it's a great spot that you're towards the edge, that you have frontage on Main Street, but also you have an entrance on Central on 140
on the backside,
well, with dedicated parking too. So that's really convenient.
Yep.
And it's a huge space. There's a lot there.
It's very deceiving for people have no idea when they walk in the front door.
It's enormous. It just, you know, it's broken up into sections, but there is the fabric and all of the resources in the front, but then there's an entire craft area and community space, the classroom space in the back. And I mentioned I stopped in the other day, and Cyndi wasn't there, but there had to have been at least 15 women back there, and I dared not interrupt. They were so industrious and focused on their projects. And all in different stages of their projects too, which was really neat. And I loved that sense of bringing people together to work together, and something that, you know, very often people do at their home, but this creates that space where everyone can collaborate and communicate and share ideas and help one another. So I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, we don't just sell supplies. I mean, I think everybody, it's funny, I think I told you this, when anytime I go to the town council for anything, you know, everybody kind of scratches their head and says, now what is it you guys do there in that store, and how do you stay in business? And they just don't understand what it's truly all about. And you know, we sell supplies, but we provide so much more. I mean, we provide inspiration, we provide creativity, we provide community, we provide a sense of purpose. We provide color therapy at lunch breaks. I mean, people just come in because they need some therapy. You know, that happens quite frequently. You know, we've made just great friendships with customers over the years who just need someone to listen to them sometimes. You know,
and I think that's what small businesses and building those relationships are, is building that sense of community and responsibility and loyalty, and being amongst friends. And being around people who share your passions or can appreciate why something's important to you. And quilting is a lot about that. You're creating something very often for a family member or for a charitable organization, and it's handmade. I just spoke with Jane Curran, who is helping me frame a piece that my mom spent over a year embroidering. And when someone takes that time and invests in something, you really value that. And to have a resource to fuel that is so important. And I would love to see, you know, the reason why Shop Franklin is so important to me is bringing back that sense of community and that sense of pride and ownership and pride in your peers. And I feel like quilting and sewing is another part of that, is taking the time to really invest in something, not just picking something up that's disposable, but creating something and being proud of that. And so Emma's, we say it's not just supplies. Yes, you can go in, you can get fabric. Jane Curran gets her lacing thread there. You sell swatches. You can custom cut things for people, which I found when I was being really lazy, and you said that you could do something for me. And there's all different things that you can do. So there's supplies, but those classes. So what different classes do you offer?
There's everything from, I have a very popular Learn to Quilt series that sells out every session. There are garment classes, there's bag classes, there's contemporary quilts, there's art quilts.
And so we have some of that right here.
Yeah.
So when we talk about a garment, this is a little something jacket. So yes, you have the supplies, you can buy the fabric there and you can buy the pattern there. But if this might be intimidating to you, you can actually go to the store and say, how do I get started on this? What do I need? What resources do I need?
Absolutely.
So there we have the jacket, and so it's a garment piece. I love this.
Oh, this is all the craze right now.
I love this. It's so beautiful. And you actually have a class on how to make this.
We have both. This is a square tuffet. This is the latest version that's out right now. And you can also do a round tuffet. And we've done several classes in the round tuffet. And they're so fun because you can use all different wild, crazy colors. They can be bigger, they can be smaller. They're just really fun. This is a one-day class. You leave every class with a completed tuffet.
Wait, so sorry, I actually am really surprised. Like, so I would come in, and do you provide the furniture piece as part of the expense, or would I bring that in?
We sell a kit, a tuffet kit.
Okay, that comes with everything.
All your hardware and everything else.
And then I would pick my fabrics, and then I would leave with this.
You would leave
and
with
there's
that.
someone there who will make sure I do it properly.
Correct.
So so like in my fantasy land, when I have my reading nook in my house and I can actually have time to read a book, probably won't happen for a really long time, but I could come in one day.
Absolutely.
Do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I love that.
And on the round ones, we've kind of developed this little pattern where you can, you make it say in this, and then you can do almost like a slip cover, so you can change out seasonally the tuffet and just apply a new cover to it, if you will.
That's kind of cool.
So it's fun. They're
Maybe
really
we
fun.
should have like a Shop Franklin class where we all come and make a tuffet.
Yep.
I think I need to organize that. All of our Shop Franklin viewers, if anybody's interested in making a tuffet with me, I think this is going to be on my agenda for the next year. So don't get rid of that class. I will be there. So other things, the classes you had mentioned, bags. I really love this bag here. I love the colors, the brightness. Most people know that I wear black all the time, but I do have pops of color occasionally. My beautiful pink bracelet from Lisa Gracio's Silver Tree Jewelry. My red pants I got on clearance because I'm frugal, so making my own things should be right up my alley. But I love this bag, and you'll notice the magnetic closure. So you have classes on how to make these?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is a nice shoulder tote, and also down here we have a weekender, which I love. I love the idea of a weekender. I drive everywhere I go.
This is great for also on a plane.
Yeah, and it's smushable. You can smush it and put things in there, and with small kids, you just shove all their stuff in there. So that's great. And then some other things, I love this. Cyndi brought these today. I didn't know they were coming. Cloth diapers.
They're called nappies.
Nappies. So this is something you don't think about. You're a quilt shop. You know, the misconceptions, oh, well, I don't do quilting. You don't have to do quilting. There's so much there. I cloth diapered part-time with both of my kids, and talking about misconceptions about how things work, I loved it. It was so great for the environment. It was cost-effective.
Yep, so did I.
And the idea of making your own, and nowadays cloth diapers are actually an insert and an outside, and they're removable, and I could go on about cloth diapers for a while. But could someone come into the store and pick out fabric, or if someone said, I'm part of a mom's club, could someone help us do this? Is that
Absolutely.
something?
We have done that before. We did this as a class as well.
And a lot of people use these as fashion statements. So little girls in dresses, and then they have custom pieces underneath.
You can put ruffles on the back. There's some fun things you can do.
You can do patches.
There's some ruffles right there.
Oh, here's some lace. And they can make a little pillowcase dress, which I know that you know how to make. And it's a really simple project.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I'm getting excited. All right, so that's another out of the box. And then seasonal things or themed things. A lot of needlework and pieces are centered around a theme. You said Halloween costumes, so people make Halloween costumes. Or seasonal decorations. So many people I know get really enthusiastic in decorating their house for the holidays, and you have a lot to do that, and we're actually going to do a demonstration with that in a minute. But another idea is children's rooms. So when you have a child, you like to, especially your first child, not so much your second child or a third, and if you dare have a fourth, but your first child, you go all out with the themes, and you can come in and make things like this wall hanging.
That's a growth chart, actually.
A growth chart, even better.
It's a growth chart. See the other here?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
And so that's a great piece. And then I see you brought a quilt here that is from Dreams for Baby book.
Yeah, this is hand stitching embroidery. I mean, you have something now. You said you're having framed by Jane.
Yeah, so the embroidery
but
piece.
This is incredibly popular right now. It's being brought back in all different ways, and on quilts and on bags and just on wall hangings. It's just resurrected like unbelievable. So it's a way to incorporate this traditional style of quilting into something that's a little bit more contemporary. The design is. We used 1930s fabrics though, so it's makes it kind of fun and for babies. You can see there's just really nice motifs here.
And this is heirloom. This is an heirloom that you invest in and you pass on. And it doesn't happen overnight. And you really take the time to do it. It's beautiful. And then we also have a different type of quilt. Similar, that's also very popular right now, is a lot of the contemporary designs and colors, the squares, the geometrics.
Correct.
And doing something a little different. And you can choose something that matches your home. You don't have to go looking. And the pride of doing something, I think, is so amazing.
This is what's so fun about this is that, you know, when people think about the quilt shop, or it's not your grandmother's quilt shop, and there's so much more happening here with all the quality of fabric is so much better than it was. The selection is better. There's just so much more you can do, and I mean, you're just creativity can soar, and you can do anything you want.
And walking into the space, you really are inspired. You see something and you love it. You just like me seeing the diapers, which fortunately I'm out of at this point. But the tuft it, which we will be. I may need a tuffet for my reading nook. You walk in and it's just. You just catch your breath and you go back to a time where you're just like, you're away from everything and it's all about you and what inspires you and what you can create. So I think it's a beautiful space and I'm glad that you are there and I can absolutely see how it can be a community center.
Well, one of the things, it's funny you should say that because there's a lot that goes into, creating the environment you want to create in your store. And it isn't just throwing up a couple shelves and putting some product on it. So, like one of the things that I did in my store is I took a lot of time to think about how I want to design the layout. And I have a really non-traditional layout in my store. So what I've created is these little nooks and crannies, but to me they're more like neighborhoods. And so it's done by theme. So I have a Civil War reproduction neighborhood, I have a batik neighborhood, I have a flannel neighborhood, so that it invites discussion. So if you're shopping in that section and I'm shopping in that section, just the way it's configured really lends itself to us talking about, oh, you like that fabric, oh, what are you going to put it on, what are you working on? It just creates community, and that's what people come to a quilt store for. They want to share their passion with everybody.
And that's so neat.
Yeah, so it's the little things, it's the details like that, I think, that can really make a shop great.
And intimate.
Yeah. And fortunately for us, you know, we've worked really hard on it. I have a fabulous staff. I've always had a fabulous staff who really take a lot of pride and care in what we do. And we are one of the top shops in New England.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's a regional draw. I can see why.
Oh, I get New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine,
really?
Connecticut, New York, yeah, Rhode Island, yeah.
Now if we can get more of Franklin to come in and see what you're all about and be inspired to create. And before we move on to our tutorial, there's one thing that I forgot to mention that I really want to show our audience as a great easy piece. So walking, getting inspired, and you can have this done in a day even if you have no sewing skills. And we had talked about themes for kids' rooms. As they get older, you might not do a giraffe, but their interest. Mine, Star Wars right now. I have 2 boys, they love Star Wars. So I can make something for the room. And Cyndi will show us an example.
This is a great way to create a memory for your child or your grandchild. A lot of grandmothers make these. I have 4 grandchildren, and so I've probably made 30 pillowcases for them all together. But you take a novelty fabric, you make them a pillowcase. And you take any novelty fabric. It can be something that's sports related that they like. It could be a movie theme that they like. It could be books that they like. There's just so many things you can do with it. And it's a great way to have them remember you every night they go to sleep at night. But it's easy to do. It's a few seams, it really is. But it's got this really wonderful, nice finished inside that you're not going to find in any pillowcase that you get. So not only are they customizable to your specific child, they are very, very well made. So this is one with skateboards. This is one with baseballs.
I like the contrast too.
Yep.
Nice detail.
And this is one with horses.
Beautiful. I know many people who would love that.
Yeah, so there's all just different ways you can do it.
And do you agree this is a pretty quick project even for the most novice sewer?
Oh yeah, as long as you can sew straight, it's easy to do.
I'll need to practice that, but I bet I can do it.
But these, my shop has a particular affinity for pillowcases. We participated in a 1 million pillowcase challenge a few years ago.
Really?
This is an international event where people were making pillowcases and donating them. And so we did almost 500 pillowcases for that particular event. But we also do this every year. I've been doing it now for 2 years, where we make pillowcases and donate them at Christmas time to one of the local churches. And when they have their Caring Giving Tree program for the children, we make the pillowcases, and every gift that they get for Christmas is wrapped in a pillowcase.
Oh wow, what a great gift.
Yeah,
it's a gift within a gift.
Yeah, it is. So they really enjoy it. We've gotten wonderful feedback from the church, telling us how the kids and the parents are just so touched.
And do clients of the store actually come in and do it on site together? Or can they do it at home and bring it in, a little of both?
Most of them do it do it at home and then bring them in. So last year we collected 168 pillowcases, So one thing you'll know about quilters, or maybe you don't know about quilters, is they are the most generous people I have ever met. I mean, boy, talk about a call to action. Anytime there is anything that happens, quilters are there with quilts, pillowcases, anything. It's very, very touching, very generous, compassionate people. So.
And that's another sense of that community.
Yep.
So why don't we move on and do our tutorial that you're going to show us some simple stitching for the holiday season. And right now we have Halloween coming up, so let's check it out. So Cyndi, now we are over here in our tutorial zone, and you are going to teach us how to do something. So we had talked about a lot of people create items for seasons or for themes, and there's so many things that you can do with fabric, using seasonal appropriate fabric or creating designs with fabric. So here's a Halloween banner, and we have a nice snowman, winter blessings, some winter quilting, and I love this one. This one's I love the color contrast on this with, this is a different type, did you say, of?
This is applique.
Applique. So we're actually putting the pieces on top, not stitching together separately. But I think that one is beautiful. I would love to see that on like a pillow or something. That would be neat. And that's pretty easy stitching as well.
Yep,
so
it is.
we have another easy stitching project for us. Take easy with a grain of salt. We'll see how I do with this. I'm going to make her do all the work if you want the finished product. So what are we making today?
So we're actually doing a twofer.
A twofer.
Yeah. So this is called a 10-minute table runner. Even you could do this.
Okay.
Okay. So it's literally 4 seams.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm looking at it going, no, there's way more than 4 seams there, but I'm going to take your word for it.
Okay, and then you just finish it up with this nice button here, just a coordinated button to kind of hold it down or whatever.
Cute.
Okay, and it just lays on your table.
Nice.
Okay. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Okay. So you're going to take, did I mix them up? I put this. Hopefully you can edit that. Okay.
So look at me and say, so I'm going to show you how to do this.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this.
All right.
All right, you take 2 pieces of fabric. This is your back fabric, so this would be the purple fabric on this.
Okay.
Okay. So this
So
is,
there's two fabrics. There's a back fabric
and then your focus.
and then your focus.
Okay.
Okay, and so that's going to be the dominant.
Yep.
Okay.
Or actually, this I think would be more dominant.
Okay.
Okay. So this is my backing. This is a nice little Halloween fabric. It's got little bats on it. And then this, my focus fabric. These really cute little skeletons. So you're going to take 2 pieces of fabric, and they come right off the bolt. Okay.
So you basically just have to cut a straight line.
Yep.
Okay.
In fact, at the quilt store, they'll cut it for you.
So you don't even have to cut it. This is fabulous.
Right. So you're just going to sew 2 seams together, right sides. Okay. You're going to do this one, and you're going to sew it again on this side. So that's your 2 seams.
Okay.
Okay. After you sew your 2 seams, okay, it's going to look like this, right? Okay. You're going
I
to
see
turn
where
this
we're going with this now.
inside out,
And there's your feature.
and you can see that when you lay this down, and then you would press it, it makes this nice border for you, so you don't even have to do anything extra. So you've got your focal fabric right here, and then you've got your backing, which also serves as your border.
Nice.
Okay? So this is what it looks like.
And could you hand stitch this, or obviously it's easier on a sewing machine?
Much easier on a sewing machine, yeah. I mean, it's a zip, zip down one side, down the other. Okay?
All right.
So now this is what it looks like when it's all pressed. You can see? So what we're going to do then is you're going to take the 2 sides and put them together like this, okay? Well, this is your focus fabric, so this is going to be on the outside,
Okay.
okay? You're going to sew this. It's as easy as this.
Pay attention here. So that was a straight line.
That was a straight line.
And now it's sealed.
Yep, so now what you have, and I did the other one already,
Okay.
so you've got 2 seams, okay?
Okay.
You could do that, Sarah.
I could.
Okay. After they're done, you're just going to flip this corner, because this is the magic. By sewing that seam that you did, you just flip it over, press it, and you've got your table runner.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
I didn't believe her that there were 4 seams going on
So
there.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Literally 1, 2, 3, 4 straight lines. And you'll cut the fabric for me.
And we'll cut the fabric for you. All
Wow.
you do is just sew on your nice little button,
Nice.
and you're good to go. Okay?
I could actually do that.
All
It might be a
right.
little wonky at first, but I could
Now,
actually do
this
that.
is what's really fun about this. Okay?
So you
So
said it's a twofer. So is this where we
it's a
get our
twofer.
twofer?
Yeah, this is your twofer. So let's go back to this one, okay?
Okay.
So this is a really nice, fun little table runner that you keep on your table. So maybe you put it out October 1st. So you enjoy it the whole month. And then on the 30th, you take it off the table, and you're going to turn it into a trick-or-treat bag for your kids.
Okay.
Okay?
Prove it.
All right. Here's how you're going to do it. Okay.
Oh, I think I see how this is going to work.
Let me see. Okay. So you're going to take this one right here. Okay. Put these together like this.
So your feature fabric is on the inside right
Feature
now.
fabric is on the inside. Okay. And you're going to make seam here and seam here.
Prove
Okay.
it.
That's 6 seams
And again, it's just
Okay.
a straight line through the machine.
right there.
Nice.
Okay. And down the other side. Okay. And then once you have that done, this is called a box corner. Very easy to do. So where we just sewed that seam. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to measure in 2 inches, and you're just going to sew a seam across.
So kind of create a sewn triangle. So that creates that pouch at the bottom, that space. So how many stitches do we have so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 7.
7, I just did the other one.
And then 8.
8. Going to do the inside out.
Ta-da!
So remember that initial one that we had here had this nice little border on the
And there it
outside.
is.
So now when you make your bag, so that box corner that we made,
Oh, wow.
see how it makes it
It's nice and
nice
clean.
and flat on both sides? Now that piece right there now becomes your little border accent.
Cute.
Flip the sides over. You can put some handles on here. You can put fabric handles. You can do ribbon. You just secure them to the inside.
Nice. And here you have the accent button that goes with it that I'm sure you can get at Emma's Quilt Cupboard and Sewing Center.
Yep. It's a cute little trick-or-treat bag.
I'm impressed. I did not think that that was that easy at all.
Yeah, you could do that.
I could. And if I was going to do it and I wanted to, I could buy myself a sewing machine.
Oh, absolutely.
So really quickly, so the tutorial didn't take that long at all. So we have a second to talk about your sewing machine. Emma's Quilt Cupboard and Sewing Center. So let's pick up on the Sewing Center part.
Yep.
So beyond being a community space, you sell sewing machines, all brands, correct?
Nope, I just sell Husqvarna Viking. I'm an exclusive dealer for
Say that
Husqvarna.
again really slowly.
I'm an exclusive dealer for Husqvarna Viking. We're all familiar with the Husqvarna brand, like chainsaws and lawnmowers and that. It's under the same umbrella as that. At one point it was. So we sell those exclusively. We do everything from entry-level machines all the way up to top-of-the-line sewing and embroidery machines. We service all brands of sewing machines. We are an authorized dealer for Viking, so we can service all Viking machines, and then we provide annual cleanings and tune-ups for other brands as well. And our repair service is on-site, and I have 2 technicians.
And it's all in-store, like you said, it's on-site, it's in-store, so you're not shipping it off anywhere, there's no risk of it getting lost, it's all done there.
It's all done on the premises.
And you can work with the owner to make sure they know how everything's working, and anything you find, like I think I saw a picture of a wad of thread in one that it wasn't mine. But you do all that on site.
Yep, we do it
so
all
it really
on
is a
site.
full
Yep.
service.
Yep.
All right, so anyone who's going trick-or-treating, I expect some of you to be carrying your new trick-or-treating bags come October 31st, and it's easy. So thank you so much for being on Shop
Oh, you're
Franklin
welcome.
TV.
Thanks
I'm
for having
so
me.
glad that we could share this time, and we'll see you around town.
This program was made possible by your Franklin friends and neighbors, good folks just like you. Thanks for supporting Franklin TV. And thanks for watching.